Bonjour and welcome back. So we've had a look at the idea of moral bioenhancement. We've looked at a couple of examples. These are kind of drugs. So you can snort oxytocin, you can take SSRIs as a pill, and there are indications that they affect how moral you are. So this is not necessarily, they're not saying everyone should and they are saying these suggest that if we look at the things that affect our moral impulses, we can find them. So let me now just think about what we should say about that, the fact about these compounds. Should we spend a lot of money on a program to find them? And what would it be like for us to take them? So I will actually just but I just want to mention a couple of issues with those two examples. And maybe some of you who've done psychology or whatever, you'll find other issues. But here's a problem with the research that they cite that suggests that SSRIs could be moral enhancers. And that is that if you're a moral philosopher and you look at a scientific paper, well, you like the ones that say what you want them to say.
Oh, this is called cherry picking.
Yeah, you cherry pick. You think, oh, I like this result. And if a paper says, oh, we looked for a difference in the moral behaviour or the willingness to trust for people on SSRIs, and we didn't find it, you say, I don't do that. And you're a little bit like, when back in the old days when you could deny the reality of climate change. People could always say, well, I don't want to do anything about climate change. Well, why not? Well, I found some papers and some journals that said climate change is nonsense, so nah, I'm not going to do anything. So cherry picking is a bad thing, and is this an example of cherry picking? And in a way, what do philosophers know? So philosophers, I can find a paper just by using Google that says what I want it to say.
And it would be published in a good journal, right?
But am I going to bother reading all the other papers? No. They don't say what I want to say. And so there's that issue there. But there's also another problem with oxytocin. And this is something that Pearson and Savulescu acknowledge. They don't really acknowledge the first issue. But, so yes, if I was to snort oxytocin, it does tend to make me feel closer, but not to everyone. It turns out that it latches on to an in-group, out-group effect. So if you recognize the person you're sitting beside as belonging to your group, or an out-group member, then you feel closer. But if the person beside you is an out-group, like maybe they belong to different gender, different race, different whatever, it may exaggerate your distance.
So it can also make you immoral for some group of people.
Yeah. I mean, I sort of, yes, I trust people who I think are more similar to me. It's like, if you're a pregnant woman, you give birth, you're no longer pregnant. You don't just randomly cuddle everything. You cuddle your specific income. So it's obviously part of the design of oxytocin. This is my baby. That's not my one. But so yes. So that's the problem for that. I mean, if we were to, so we'd have to fix that. And Savulescu and Pearson say, yes, we should try to fix that. But, I don't know, what do you think about that idea?
I mean, I like that human body always has one more deeper layer of mechanism than you imagine or than you think.
Yes.
So you think that, oh, if we do this, we're gonna be more moral, or we're gonna trust people more. Then it turns out that there's something more that you need to figure out. So I'm kind of closer to bioconservatives in that sense.
Right, yes, because if you oversimplify,
You're gonna
get it
harm
just- you
yourself.
just get it a bit wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, look, the whole world's now on oxytocin. And wow, we thought we were a society with a racism problem. And now that we're all on oxytocin, that's really made the racism of our society lethal. So yeah, if you get it wrong, then you can get it very,
And maybe
very
there is no turning back.
It would be hard to, because you said in a way, oh, here we go, good. There is turning back. So that's an issue. Now, I wonder, to what extent, Furkan, do you think it's permissible for them to say, yeah, well, it's obviously not perfect, we're working on it?
Well, they can work on it, but they can't just say that everyone should take this.
Yes.
It can't be just universal.
Well, at what point do you say everyone should be on this? At what point does someone say, okay, climate change, we're too slack-assed to do much about it. Everyone needs, right now, to swallow this. It's like a moral enhancing descendant of an SSRI.
And it works, there's no side effects.
Well, or maybe, yeah, every medicine has side effects, but maybe it works enough.
I mean, it's a bit scares me because I feel like it would be, human beings would be so predictable.
Yes.
Everyone would be like robots. You can just predict what they're gonna do because you trust everyone, and everyone is gonna make the same decisions.
Is this? I mean, if we expand, let's actually bring that point up again in the final selection. That's a fascinating thing to consider, that, isn't it? So maybe, Furkan, you could elaborate.
Okay.
At the beginning of the next one, because are we voting to turn ourselves into robots? Because robots, if you just tell all the robots to stop emitting carbon,
They will stop.
they'll stop. Is that what we want? Okay, see you next talk.